There we go. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are out there. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and it's another live C Sharp with C Sharp Fritz. It's been a while, friends. How are you out there? I've had a bunch of things happen, a bunch of life events occur. My daughter started college. We had .NET Conf a few weeks ago. Lots going on, lots happening. I hope you're still out there. I hope you're tuning in. We're ready to go back. I'm going to revisit where we were last time because, quite frankly, code didn't work. We got some fixes. We're going to deploy. We're going to take a look at that today. But of course, we're going to start off with a little Ask Me Anything, a little AMA about all things .NET, all things Visual Studio, Azure. Let me bring up the chat over here. There they are. There's the chat room right over there. That timer's not right. How did that timer get changed? Let's go change that timer back real quick. It should be that one. There we go. 40 minutes on the AMA timer to make sure that we get to everybody's questions and we still get to our code. We still get to our fun that we're going to have over on the other side today. Let me say hello to some folks. Tomcat is here on YouTube. Good to see you. Charles Galuli on Twitch. Steven is on YouTube. Greetings to you in a cold and wet Melbourne. It's that time of year in Australia. Joe Malumba, how you doing there? Let's go over there on YouTube. Aussie Trady, evening everyone. Just have to load this up on the big screen. We'll wait while you load it up on the big screen. Nilton, how you doing there? Nasir, hey, how's it going there? Good to see me on YouTube. Good to see you, my friend. Hello. Let me see here. Badger, hi everyone. Hop in the Cloud is on Twitch. Hello to you as well. Carl Edwards is here from Johannesburg. Good to see you. Yes, I am back. Sorry about things happen in our lives and you end up delaying it with the timing of the schedule for this stream. There's all kinds of things that people schedule on Mondays, right first thing in the morning for me, and it knocks me off the air, and that happens. Ozzy says, thanks for the show. You're welcome. And I hope everybody had a chance to tune in to .NET Conf Focus on Maui. That was our event about 3 weeks ago now that we had where we taught about the new release of .NET Maui. It was formally released back in June. We gave some time for folks to get in and explore. And we had some really great sessions. What do we have? 15 sessions all told, including another 10 that were pre-recorded and available for you right here on the .NET channel on YouTube. youtube.com/.net. Look for .NET Conf Focus on Maui playlist, and you'll see just a ton of content there, hours and hours that you can watch that'll teach you all about .NET Maui and how you can build native applications that run on Windows, iOS, Android, and Mac OS. Haristian asks, when do you expect .NET 6 to be adopted widely in the industry? It was released in November last year. It is being adopted widely. It's a long-term servicing release. It was adopted faster than any of our other releases of .NET Core, so I think we're there. It's going to continue to be supported for at least the next 3 years. If you want to learn more about how support cycles work on .NET, go to .NET/support, and you can see the support cycles there, along with the exact dates when we'll drop support for various versions of .NET. Golden Game Studio, hello, good to see you. Innocent Size, how's it going there? Golden Game says hello from Nigeria. Eob says hello, Fritz. How you doing there? Greetings to Francis in Kampala, Uganda. Good to see you. Ozzy says that the .NET Maui conference was awesome. Can't wait for more to drop. .NET Conf 2022, our annual event, is coming up in November 8th through 10. Do I have those dates right, or am I confusing them with another event? All live, all online. We have 8 hours of content the first day. All the Microsoft folks explaining and showing you some of the cool things that happen with the release of .NET 7. That's going to happen during the keynote with our keynote speaker, Gaurav Seth. And day 2, we're going to have folks from all over Microsoft showing you all the cool things that you can do with .NET 7 on all the different Microsoft platforms and things, all those integrations you want to do. Take your new .NET 7 knowledge and apply it throughout the entire ecosystem. Day 3 is Community Day. We have 24 hours straight, every time zone represented, every continent represented, 48 sessions from community folks, influencers, folks like you out there that are speaking from your part of the world to teach about all the cool things that they've done with .NET 6 and now .NET 7. Coming up, that's coming up in November, check it out at .NETconf.net. So lots more coming with that. And I'm already planning at least 2 more, at least 3 more .NET Conf events in 2023. It's going to be a blast. Kevin is here on YouTube. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Arian says, first time being here, kind of new to the whole .NET environment. Do I have any tips and tricks on where to start or how to go about the whole thing? I've got an amazing playlist for you here where we go through and have the same type of AMA, very conversational, instructional approach to teaching and learning about .NET. We start from the very beginning, very basics, using notebooks. Check out the playlist on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/.net, and look for the C# with CSharpFritz playlist. There's almost 50 videos in there that you can check out. Each one's 2 hours long. We've got a little bit of Q&A up front, and then we get into lessons on the backside. Let me get some music playing here in the background. We'll get into a little bit more of this. I'm going to go to Streambeat's Lo-Fi playlist today. And somewhere down here, we'll get started with just some groovy lo-fi music, just something chill, something relaxed that we can listen to while we're writing some code together, while we're chatting, and just have that background music. This is Stream Beats from Harris Heller. There's all kinds of genres of music available. I like to stick with the instrumental stuff that's kind of quiet, kind of chill, kind of relaxing. Have it in the background here. It's fun. It's nice. Check it out. Streambeats.com. There's playlists there for Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify, like I'm listening to here on my Windows 11 machine. Thank you so much to Harris Heller and his team of creators for making this available for us to listen to today. Steven says, happy belated birthday. Hope I had a great time. It was a long day yesterday. Not going to lie. It was a long day yesterday. I've got a longer day today. But thank you so much. Yes, yesterday was my birthday, the 28th. Thank you so much. Sanjeev says hello. Badger23 has a question here. After pursuing OAuth last night, I'm curious, why is there no project template using baked-in identity for Blazor, WebAssembly, and Netcore hosted? Identity server is paid, which the template uses. I thought there was a template when you do hosted Blazor and you activate security. I thought it was in there. If not, something we can definitely consider getting into the mix here. Ian Tropics. Yeah, there you go. Already adopted .NET 6. Hop in the cloud. I'm not getting any documentation on building webhooks with .NET. I've built a Blazor application and would like to be able to, with other applications, to subscribe to it with a webhook. I thought webhooks was something that we definitely had in the early versions of ASP.NET Core. I see it for .NET Framework. I see sending webhooks. No, I don't see it. Let me get back to you on that. I'm going to take a note on that. That's not a bad question. Let me go dig into that further for you. It's something that we had before, and yeah, it should carry through. On Twitch, Yazd82 says, good afternoon from the Netherlands. Which new feature in .NET 7 is my favorite? I don't have a favorite yet, only because I haven't really gone and started implementing with the previews yet. When we get into a release candidate, I'll start tinkering with it. I do like the native JSON, being able to key that in with C#. nothing really stands out. I like the significant performance and smaller size of packages with ahead of time compilation. Really good stuff there. Yeah, I have to dig in further and get more comfortable with it. I don't like to spend my time developing with the preview versions of the frameworks. I like to make sure that that I'm using all of the release versions, especially when I'm talking with you here on this stream, because I don't want to share preview versions, release candidate versions on this stream where we're teaching, because I want you to see things that you can use today and that aren't going to change, because these are recorded and they're always available. Greetings to you, Ian Tropics in Brazil. Ifideo, how you doing there? I'm doing well, thank you. Kevin, love the hat. Where can we get one? So this, haha, I have a collection of hats. This is an old hat that's been discontinued. This was from the old Xamarin University, showing all the places that you could use C#. You can use it in the cloud, in Visual Studio, you can write websites with it, and you can build mobile apps. So, no longer available because product's been discontinued. So, Xamarin University. Discontinued, merged, morphed, and became Microsoft Learn. The SLS launch was scrubbed. Ah, bummer. I was watching it thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to launch in the middle of my stream. I could cut over to it. Ah, rats. That's frustrating that it was scrubbed. But better to be safe than to launch something and to have some sort of incident occur. Sanjeev is coming from Java. Any advice? A lot of what you know from Java is in C#. Don't be afraid of generics. Generics are something that are very, very powerful in C# and .NET. Grab some of the templates and tinker around and see how they work. A lot of it's going to look pretty familiar right off the bat. Don't be afraid of Razor. We're going to talk about Razor and Razor templates here in a little bit. The mixing of C# with HTML, it's going to look weird at first, but you get really comfortable with it, and it makes you very productive. Jose is here from Monterrey, Mexico. Good to see you. Charles Alavo from Brazil. Welcome in. Oh, get out now or you won't be able to go back to Java. Well done, Kromog. Chalice Time is here from France, learning C# for your first developer job. Welcome, Chalice Time. So good to see you. I had a welcome button here somewhere. Where is it? Welcome in. So good to see you. There we go. Air Homer 99. I need to learn some WCF for my college. Why? Why are you learning WCF for college? Let's start there. Would I say the Microsoft documentation isn't enough for a start? No. No. I would go find documentation from, particularly look for a gentleman named Miguel Castro. That's right, Miguel. I'm referencing your materials. Miguel is an expert at WCF and has written some amazing blog posts and tutorials for it. He has a course that's available on Pluralsight that is amazing. Check out that. But why are you learning WCF in college is something that I would want to know, because WCF is something that is behind us and we recommend folks move to new technologies. Not something that I would encourage new developers to learn unless you're going to be maintaining something. And I don't think that's going to be in the cards for you. Let me know. How you doing there? Thindol in Final Stack. Good to see you. Strug is here. Hello to you in Russia. Good to see you. Thindol just had an interview with a possible new customer. Think you nailed it. Cool. Congratulations. Is that Bilgahan? How you doing there? Good to see you. Is that... I can't recognize the flag. Why isn't the flag popping up there? Yeah, it's not showing me that. Emerald is here from Malaysia, just starting C# and Python for web apps and data analytics. Cool. Good luck. Io is here from Abadan, Nigeria. Hello to Juan in Spain. Adnaro, How you doing? Good morning. To everyone starting out in development, Carl says you're embarking on an amazing journey. Congrats. Carl, you're right. One thing that I hope all of you who are just starting out, whether you're just starting in school, just starting down and want to explore what software development is all about, please understand, this is a journey. This isn't something like plumbing or electrical work where you're going to learn, here's the standards, here's how you put the things together, and that's it, you're done. No. Everything changes in software, right? We get new devices, new technologies, new hardware, new advances happen, and we have to change and advance our programming languages, adopt new technologies, adopt new techniques to take better advantage of those things. If you had started development 15 years ago, you wouldn't have been building applications for mobile phones. You might have been building for a Windows machine, most likely. So things change, things advance, things evolve. You need to evolve with it, and this is a journey that you're going to continue walking on. And it's always good to refresh your knowledge and continue to walk and learn more all the time. How you doing there? Rack asks, what do I think of Blazor SS, Blazor server-side and WebAssembly? I think Blazor server-side and WebAssembly is a fantastic option for folks that want to build websites quickly, reusing technology, reusing content. WebAssembly has some growth to continue through, and the team is building new capabilities to make what the WebAssembly compilation smaller, faster, more efficient. And the browsers are getting better at supporting WebAssembly in the browser, not just for Blazor. It's going to get better. It's going to advance. Within 5 years, I think the WebAssembly story for software development may outpace the JavaScript story. Within 5 years. We'll see how technology evolves. Artemis got hit by lightning. Yeah. How you doing there? In Japan, is that Subakimoto? Welcome. I am omnivore. How you doing on Twitch? Yeah, engine temperatures were serious, huh? WebWires has a question. Is there a way to interop Angular with Blazor components in order to gradually migrate? Yes, there is. We have some demos on the documentation. This is something that we absolutely promote, that you can use. You can call Blazor from Angular, and the other way around. From Blazor, you can call into Angular. Take a look at some of the component demos there. At the very least, there is a JavaScript interop bridge that you can reach across. So you can call .NET code from Angular, and from .NET you can call JavaScript code. Really cool stuff. Bulat is here and says, Salam, peace from a Kazakh residing in Turkey. What's up? Thank you so much, Bulat. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Satish asks, do I have a ready-to-use or ready-to-start from a project management or a contact relationship management system? No. Sorry. I do not have a project management or content relationship management system available for folks to just build from. Sorry. There might be folks in the open source community who have one, but as Microsoft, as Jeff Fritz, no, I don't have one. I'm sorry. You cannot what? A this.get type back to a generic. Is it possible to get the type of a T? Yes. Execute type of paren, capital T, right paren, and you'll get the type of the generic type. You'd like a customer relationship. That's great. Write one. How you doing there, Kay? Any chance Maui for web controls? Why? Curious. Help me out. Let me understand why. I not currently on the docket, but what are you looking for there? What's the experience you're looking for? Kay on YouTube. NG Nerd is in a C# lover from Indonesia. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Hop in the cloud this past weekend. Just realized how much they love coding. To see the end result, very rewarding. Love the challenges. Awesome. How you doing there? Napalm is here on Twitch. Badger23 on YouTube. College courses move at a snail's pace. They just updated from web forms to Net 5 last semester. You're talking about a 20-year lack of update. That's disappointing. I mean, I was in the 90s. I was in college, 1995, 1996, and they were teaching me Fortran 77. We're looking at this and going, this is 20-year-old technology. Are people really using this? And the answer is no. No. Bitola, how you doing there in Macedonia? About to land your first job with C#, and I help a lot in the learning process. Oh, congratulations there. We got to applaud that. Very cool. Struggle Programming says, hi, sir. The streaming is going to be unique and awesome. Hope I'm sharing my unique knowledge with every viewer. Love from Pakistan. You're very welcome. Hope you have a terrific evening there in Pakistan. You still maintain soap services, Carl Edwards? See, you gotta move off of that. You gotta move on there, friend. Adnaro says, good morning. I'm in the process of developing a .NET MAUI app to target kids. I'm trying to get to drag gestures, but it takes too long to be recognized. What I would like is to use a swipe concept. I haven't gone in far enough on Maui to see back and forth on those. I would have to redirect you to the Maui team when they have their stand-up later this week, I think. Nanad is here from Serbia. Good to see you. Universal citizen in for a visit. Development is a lifestyle. Don't make it your entire lifestyle, but yes. We do need to learn every day. Constant journey of seeking knowledge. Absolutely. Air Homer has a subject called distributed systems. We're doing Java RMI and WCF. It's one of those outdated subjects. No, distributed systems isn't outdated. Not at all outdated. The technologies you're using are. Happy birthday. Thank you so much from, I'm sorry, I can't read the name, from Ukraine. Good to see you. .NET MAUI versus Kotlin for Android development. What's my take? So I'm leaning more towards .NET MAUI versus Kotlin because I can program .NET MAUI and deploy to 4 different operating systems with one project. That's pretty cool. How you doing there, Babak? Yes, long time no see. Endapane is here from Ghana, learning Java programming. Any platform for you to join? Sorry, we're doing C# here. Good luck. I am CSharpFritz. Like, that's kind of the thing. It's kind of my gimmick here. I know Java, but I do C# here. You're learning C#, says Ahmed, but I started with console apps. Is this what I should do? Yes, you should. Console apps is a great place to start, and then figure out where you want to go from there. Which type of platform do you want to build your applications for? Do you want to build web applications? Do you want to build cloud applications? Do you want to build native applications, mobile applications, games? Once you figure that out, then go jump into those other places. Nothing is great, or most of it are outdated. Well, there's thousands of videos, so yeah. That happens. Let me see here. Jay is building a Blazor server app with Telerik Blazor, and it seems very slow running locally. Building the same site with Blazor web development, and it is very responsive. Any suggestions? What do you mean it's running very slow locally? Give me some details. Give me some context behind that, Jay. Because there's a bunch of things that could be feeding into that could be affecting the performance of your application there. So let me see here. Taking a look. Satish, my boss wants to force me into WooCommerce, and that is a web shop platform in the drawings he did. Okay. So WASI is a thing coming. Yes, it is. There is some progress. I was in school. They didn't even. They didn't teach .NET when well, of course I was in school before .NET, but we'd like to get more .NET into schools. Babak asks, what about Docker? What about Docker? Docker's a fantastic platform. I have a bunch of containers running here locally to help manage and maintain the stream as we're going along here. Don't use Udemy. I'm going to have to recommend you don't use Udemy. Right, it's Udemy or is it Udacity? Which one is it? Yeah, don't use Udemy. Udemy pirates content from other creators. When you buy content from Udemy, you're not actually paying and supporting the creators. They're well known for their piracy. Don't spend money on Udemy because the folks that you're trying to support, the folks that you're trying to thank for writing that content for you, they didn't write it for Udemy. Udemy has a very well-known piracy problem. Can I explain or give a course on how to change or make modules in .NET Nuke or in Umbraco? Sorry, that's not on this channel something that we cover. We cover getting you in and getting used to the .NET frameworks and things. Folks that specialize in .NET Nuke and Umbraco can do that on their own channels. We don't want to overstep and get into teaching people how to, from Microsoft, teaching people how to build and work with those other technologies. Is that the Vindu asks, React and .NET, what is my opinion of these two? React has been around for almost 12 years now. .NET has been around for 22 years. You're going to get a really nice experience with React on the front end, .NET APIs on the back office, because .NET APIs are run on the fastest commercial web server available to you. So pretty good mixture there. You're going to do quite well. Umbraco is open source. It's not something that I'm going to cover on a Microsoft stream. That's something that folks can cover elsewhere. We don't want to step on other folks' content, other folks' projects. So we also don't want to choose winners. If we go and support one platform, then we have to go and support them all. We want to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity in this community. So we're happy to tell you, hey, go check out Umbraco, go check out these other things. They look really cool, but I'm not going to be the one generating content and training for those. Do I think gRPC will replace REST in the future? Storm, that's not a bad question. That's hard to say. gRPC hides a lot of the content, and it's trying to do a lot of things. Very well supported on many different platforms. ASP.NET is actually the fastest platform for gRPC, according to some of the benchmarks that were released just a few months ago. I don't know if I'd say gRPC is going to replace REST. REST is just too easy for folks to build and work with. So I don't think it's going to replace it, but I think they're adequate. They complement each other well. Had to code in Fortran a few years ago in the context of computational fluid dynamics. Oh, I'm so sorry. Christian. Oh, my goodness. How you doing there? Ben X Drake in Germany. Guten Nachmittag. Welcome in. Thank you so much. Basic depressed soul on YouTube. I'm sorry you're depressed. Hope you're having have a nice cup of coffee and make you feel better. Basic Java. Now you want to learn C#. Can you learn it for web development? Sure. We're going to be doing a bit of that today. We're a little bit further along in the series. You can go back to the beginning of the series, take a look at the playlist, C# with CSharpFritz, right here on the YouTube.net channel. Distributed systems are basically everywhere. You're right, Bishop, and Ionescu does point out gRPC replaces WCF. A bit. Not entirely. A bit, though. Can I make the error log of Maui better? There's an issue list over there in GitHub. You can report that to. Scrolling through here. Liliana Katrina's here on Twitch. How you doing there, friend? Welcome in. Bishop started learning C# because of a person with the alias. Great. Fantastic. Console apps will always be useful. I agree. I am omnivore. 11 minutes to go in the AMA. You wish there was more C# on Linux? Okay. lots of folks do program with C# on Linux. And in October, we'll be spending the entire month on Linux. I observe what I call Ubuntober, where on both my Twitch channel and over here, we'll program the entire month using .NET on Linux, and we'll build and do all kinds of interesting things with that, just to show and encourage and reinforce .NET works everywhere you want to be. It's not a Windows only thing. It's not a Visual Studio only thing. It works in all the places. And we want you to be productive everywhere. All right? Let's see here. I'm going to continue scrolling through. No, distributed systems as a concept is absolutely not outdated. It's very, very much encouraged and I would even dare say overused with the microservice architectures folks use here in 2022. There's definitely something to be said about the monolith being a very productive way to build things. The folks at Stack Overflow published a blog post, a month or two ago now, talking about how they run their entire set of a couple dozen websites on 9 monolithic web servers. 9. They don't have dozens and dozens of little Docker containers and Kubernetes systems managing all them and scattered across different operating systems. 9 monoliths. Done. Runs the entire thing. Can I touch on leveraging? Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate the backup there. Can I touch on leveraging browser-side background sync and data caching? No, that's way off topic and very specific. Sorry. Continuing to read here. There's a conversation going on there. You missed when the .NET Maui team will be live. Would I be kind? Take a look at live.net. And hey, I know that guy. He's currently broadcasting right here. I don't see their next scheduled session. It's got to be coming up in the next few weeks, but I don't see their next scheduled stand up. There'll be one soon. Yeah, the platform business is not entirely ethical, is what I'll say, and it's been proven time and again. Yes, the simplicity of REST is king. You're right, Friso. 1111 Friso on Twitch. You're right. gRPC won't replace it, but I can see folks preferring it because of the speed, the performance, and the small size of packets. However, if you're sending very large packets, are you doing web services correctly? It does have benefits. Yep, not as flexible as RESTful APIs. You're correct. So, GraphQL doesn't replace REST. That's right, UNESCO, yeah. How you doing there, Johnny B. Cat on YouTube? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Data scientists, data engineers usually use Python. They do. Anyone here with experience with C# and .NET in the machine learning place? What are you looking for? Yes, Ubuntober is what I coined for October. We'll do some Linux coding month. Microsoft official asks Leslie Wang, Microsoft official what? Who? Help me out there. Bishop also dabbled with C# and Unity, which is a lot of fun. Absolutely. C# with Unity is a lot of fun. But it's a little bit... It's not entirely compatible with .NET Core. So be aware. There's modern features of C# that you can't use with Unity. Jefferson on YouTube says, need your help building a barcode inventory business system. Need to scan items in and out using data for pricing, tracking, and build projects. You give 3 to 4 keywords. Do I know a good book reference? No, sorry. I don't have references. Folks that are looking for pre-built applications with .NET, it's not something that a lot of folks do. Complete and pre-built applications to be a CRM or inventory management system. Sorry. What course website would I recommend? Well, learnmicrosoft.com. Completely free, completely accessible. All the content is always available. After that, if you're willing to spend a couple bucks, go to Pluralsight. ML.net will get you far as machine learning stuff. You're right. Yep. And we've done a bit of machine learning, a bit of ML.net over on my Twitch channel. The website that I've been building over there, called Clip Talk, uses a significant bit of ML.net there to generate recommendations for you. You feel like Unity doesn't scale well? Well, Unity isn't supposed to scale. You build a game with it. It takes a lot of resources on one machine. It's not really a scaling thing. So, we've got about 4 minutes, a little close to 5 minutes left here. That I'm going to answer your questions. Going to get into some ASP.NET MVC today. We're going to be generating some code to edit data in forms. I want to go through and show you what that looks like. I also want to see if I can get a file upload feature loaded in there today. Show you how that works and some good practices for how to work with files when they're uploaded to a website. The problem that you're going to see there is really around not accepting just everything, doing some sort of scanning and parsing and making sure that files that are uploaded are what they say they are before you go and publish and make them available. Tell you about PGO and JIT. Wow. Somebody wants to get really low level here. And that's not the focus of this conversation. We're not going to talk about how code is prepared and made ready for the CPU. We're at a higher level learning here and teaching about ASP.NET. I agree that is a whole project on its own, Jefferson Dawson. And you want to use C# and Azure to construct. Fantastic. Ahmed on YouTube asks, is Blazor better than MVC? That's like asking a father to choose between his two sons. Which one's your favorite? I prefer Blazor these days because of how compact the content is, how easy it is to build and reference, and have features that you reuse. MVC does all of that, but it is very low level, very C# driven in how you build things. So I like Blazor in that I can focus more on my user interface, and the code happens very much behind the scenes. Will the file upload feature use jQuery? No. Nope. Just going to do a standard form multi-part, right? I always get this wrong. Multi-part form data encoding to get content uploaded. Because you can do that with a bunch of different JavaScript components. The key piece that I want to show is how you receive that data and put that into the file system so it's accessible. Do you need to have the client HTTP alive, not dispose and free it? I don't know what you're referring to. I'm kind of confused by what you typed there. Will batch update delete be coming to EF Core? I don't know. We have to ask the EF folks. I look at batch operations as something that I don't want to do with Entity Framework. Batch operations are things that I want to execute raw SQL statements with. Because I know at that point when I'm doing batch operations, I know better than Entity Framework what I want to execute, what I want, the operation that I want to happen. Because I'm going to take advantage of those batch processes and loading techniques that my database has. I want to skip right through some of the processing that happens. So for me, as a general practice, batch processing I do outside of my object relational mapper. Let me see here. Hello, Juan Van on Twitch. Hello, Stan in Poland. Are MVC and Blazor connected somehow? No, they're not. They're not connected at all. However, you build APIs with MVC, and you can query and interact with them from Blazor. Excuse me. Wrapping up the AMA here, Ahmed asks, should I start to learn Blazor first or MVC as a beginner dev? If you had your choice of web frameworks, I would lean towards Blazor if I had to choose between the two. However, you are going to still need to learn to do controllers to build APIs that Blazor can interact with. How do I respond to someone who thinks there is far less job opportunities for .NET than other stacks? You're welcome to think that. You're also welcome to take a look at the job boards and see how much folks pay for .NET developers and how productive folks can be as .NET developers. There are folks that like to migrate and choose other stacks just because they see somebody talk about it on Reddit or on DevTO as the new shiny thing, and hey, we're going to migrate everything from here to there. That's a terrible way to do business. And folks that do that kind of migration without thinking about the productivity of their business, of their platform, aren't going to stay in business for very long. So there are folks that say there are far less job opportunities for .NET. No, they're lying to you. So, what is the best way to implement video streaming in Blazor? Off topic. Sorry, not going to answer it. This is the important what's the important question for beginners? Blazor first or MVC? Yeah, I would personally go after Blazor, but you're going to need to learn MVC it. Jay on YouTube, and I'll wrap up here. Have I used Microsoft Identity Platform with Azure AD over trying to do identity yourself? Yes, and yes. Not sure if I should be trying to learn identity or rely on MIP to handle it myself. No, learn identity. Learn identity because it's going to get you a very secure implementation of things. Secure by default. That said, it's not easy to cobble together all of the security concepts because nobody has the exact same configuration everywhere. That's all the time we have for our AMA today. I want to move on from there. I want to get into the code we're going to talk about today. We should have, let me make sure the Stream Elements bot is running out there. Let me get, take a look at, it should be, no, hang on. Changing over to this one. Oh, it's on another. Darn it. Yep, custom commands. Is it out there and running? Yeah, there we go. So, here's the link to today's, there you go. GitHub.com, CSharpFritz /C# with CSharpFritz. And we're going to get into and talk about generating some user interfaces for objects so that we can very quickly have a complete edit experience, a complete create, read, update, and delete experience for interacting with objects in our database. We're doing this kind of setup. We're going to explore and take a look at it and hopefully also get file upload working. Because, and it's not going to be next week. Next week is an American holiday. So the 12th is when we'll probably be doing our identity session. We'll talk about wiring up identity so that you have to log in order to be able to edit and interact with items in our collection. So that's going to be coming up in just a few weeks, but I want to get the add, edit, delete interactions into the website, show you how that works, do a little bit of customization so that we can start wiring up security next time. Risky along the lines here asks, is it good to use a repository pattern with EF? Not entirely. There are things that you can take advantage of with Entity Framework that you don't need the repository pattern for. However, if you aren't committed to a database vendor, if you're not committed to and by committed I mean a long-term contract, longer than 2 years. If you're not committed to a database vendor, you don't need, I would consider repository pattern. It's going to mean you write a little bit more code, but it's going to give you flexibility to migrate later. All right, let's do this. Let's get talk about, let's get into, I'm just taking a look and making sure these things are right. How we doing on the other mic? Do we need a little bit more heat there? Test. It's not as loud. It's nowhere near as loud. Why is that? Are you kidding? Do I need a little more up here? Right, I'm working on the right. Yeah. Test. There we go. Now we're about the same. Don't forget the coffee. Absolutely. Yep. So I keep an eye on the level here, and it was coming up significantly quieter. It's panned to right a bit. How's that now? Should be in the middle there. Yeah, I think I bumped my panning there. That's weird. Why is that panned left? Okay. All right. Let's get over to the other desk and start talking about. Let's start talking about doing a little bit here with Entity Framework and MVC. So we're gonna head over to in the code. Yes. Don't forget the coffee. Gotta have the coffee. Heading on over, doing the thing. Hello, I'm over here now. So, making sure I don't miss anything over here. Good. All right. So I have my teleprompter here, so I can read. Radine asks from Malaysia. How you doing, Radine? Do I recommend EF Core or Dapper for performance? Depends on what you're doing, and there comes a point where that performance is kind of negligible. So EF Core you're going to be able to build faster with. Dapper you're going to be writing more code with, and you're going to have to manage your own code on how you interact with that. I like to use a little bit of both. So let's talk about this. Here's our code, the collection website that we've been working on. Let's start that and take a look at where we left off. Jump in and start writing some more code here and show you how we're going to generate some more code here. Satish, you're asking some very, very specific questions. I don't do that here. What's my mobile? It is an iPhone. So, here we go. Here comes the website. Let's tuck it over there. Yes, thank you. And I know, I didn't log in with you. So I have this hat collection website that right now is kind of, and we're going to add some more features into it, but it shows some of the hats in my collection. And right now I've loaded 2 hats. I've loaded this Atari hat and my Blazer hat. Should probably get my Xamarin University hat in there at some point. But not bad. It does its thing, but I want to be able to do something with adding items here. I want to be able to create and jump into adding items, or be able to edit and delete. How do I do that? How do I get into those things and make them possible, make them something interesting that we can do here. So, now before I go any further into this, actually what I want to do is I want to go over to the GitHub repository because we got a pull request. And I accidentally closed the browser. What the heck are you thinking, Fritz? No. Hang on. Nope. I don't want to see that. Try that again. GitHub, CSharpFritz, C# with... Easy for me to type. And we got a pull request. This is from Just Call Me AD with some help in formatting with Bootstrap. So place the add button in a column so it has the same padding as the rest of the layout. Updated index HTML item card so that all cards have equal height. Updated the item card footer to use the float end class instead of inline style. Thank you. Updated item card footer buttons to use the roll button instead of the inline style. And updated the card footer so that the text could not be accidentally selected. Nice. So I'm going to... I think I'm logged in Edge. Nope, I'm not logged in over here either. Son of a gun. All right, fine. We'll log in over here. Yes, my username. Thank you. So good of you to specify that for me. And yes, my two-factor authentication. Don't mind if I do. So do your two-factor authentication, friends. It will save you in the long run. Nope, that's not it. There we go. All right. So 3 files changed, basically. The database, that's fine. Index, HTML, so that front page updated, and the item card. Don't mind if I do. Fantastic. Merge that. Thanks so much for the update. All right. So now, let's pull in those changes. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my copy of the database, right? So there, collection DB. I'm going to stash that locally. What do we got here? Let's do a little bit of Git reorganizing here. I'm going to commit the CS proj. I updated all of my references to the latest versions of things. Really? Restream? Restream chat just logged me out over here on the teleprompter. So, updated to latest package versions. Let's clear that. Pull in the latest updates. Thank you. And I'm going to get rid of the collection DB that was put down, which is source my collection DB. My collection site DB. That's fine. Let's see how it goes. Back over to Visual Studio, run it again. Let's see how these updates look now on the website. We still there, chat? I lost my what's it called? My prompter. Here it comes. but it should be back now. I don't see any messages coming through. So there we go. Now things are lined up a little bit nicer. Good. Looks good there. Things all lined up. Right, so I don't have mismatched heights and things. Nice implementation of that. So, how you doing there, Ignacio? Welcome in. So, now I want to wire up some of these edit and delete buttons. I want to have methods. I want to have pages and operations that occur behind the scenes for that. Right? We went and started to do some of this by hand here, but we can actually generate this content for us using Visual Studio. So let's do that. I'm going to go back over to Visual Studio. I'm going to click Stop. And now that let me show you, I went through and I made sure I had the latest versions of all of the packages here. I turned off the Include Pre-Release button there. I clicked into Updates, and I made sure that I updated all of the packages that were there, because when you look at the full list of installed packages here, there's a lot. There's a lot. So made sure I had all the latest .NET 6 versions of those packages, those references that we're using here. So now over here, let's go through and let's add a controller. I'm going to scaffold this controller, actually. Yeah, add controller, and I should get a little prompt here. There we go. I'm going to create this with views using Entity Framework. I already have an object that contains all the information about what the items in my collection are. I'm going to point to that thing and tell it, generate my entire interactions using that. So I'm going to step through this little wizard here. And the model class is my collection item, right? That's, in my case, for my website, my collection item, it's my hats. For you, it might be movie posters, comic books, coins, stamps, whatever it is that you collect. My data context class, this is my entity framework context, and it's my collection context. Yes, generate views. Go ahead and reference script libraries. I'm going to use the default view start collection there, and we're going to put it into a collection items controller. Don't mind if I do. We're going to scaffold. It's going to go generate all that content for me and write it down. You're going to see right there in the Solution Explorer, we're going to get a new item popping in there, our collection item controller. Come on. Building the project. Do the thing here. Come on. Progress bar tells you that it's doing something. We're waiting. Generating code. There we go. There we go. And what I'm hoping for... Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. Now we've got some code that we can take a look at. So now we have a collection item controller that was generated for us and has all the capabilities to interact with those objects. I'm not going to use all the things in here. We'll use some of them, definitely. Maybe if I tap impatiently on the dialog box, right? It was right about here. Hey, you. So check it out. There's an index in here that goes and reaches into my collection items and returns that into a view. I have details, a details method here that will go and look for an object based on its ID and show you the content of that item with a view. Now remember, with MVC, we have these controllers that know how to interact with our data, know how to interact with our business logic, hand that off to our views, or to other HTTP methods here that'll return appropriate error messages to the end user visiting our website. But that view, right? So here, let's pick this one. So in details, this is the details action, right? This methods inside of a controller that return an action result we call actions. They are a method, but we also can refer to them as actions. As this action runs and it goes and does this interaction with the database, it's going to return a view with that content, that collection item that it found. That view, by default, by convention, is going to look for something in the views folder over here. And it's going to look in the collection items folder. I know it's a little bit small there on the screen, but it's going to look in the collection items folder because we're in the collection item controller. So whatever the name of this controller is, collection items controller, you drop the controller from the end of it, and whatever's to the left of that, collection items, by convention, is the name of the folder where it's going to look for the views. Now, that's something that a lot of folks struggle with, is making that connection of where the views are located. There's ways to override and specify different locations to look for views. That's a little bit beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about in this series. But know that you can do that. So there in the collection items folder, I have these files, these Razor templates: create, delete, details, edit, and index. And they happen to be the same names as these action methods that I have inside my controller. So when it says return view collection item for the details action, it's saying to return this template. Use this to generate some HTML that we're going to deliver on page, right? So I just want to make sure we reviewed that. We got everybody up to speed. So this is going to use a collection item. We're going to receive a collection item, and we're going to call that our model that we can use throughout the page here to format and generate data. Now, clearly, this doesn't look the same as what we put on our index page. It just doesn't. Let me start the site and show you what this looks like by default. And we'll start to swap in a little bit of these interactions that we want so that it looks and feels classier. Yes, yes, go away, LastPass. All right, so there's my hat collection and the two hats that I have right now. If I go up here and I add that I'm browsing to /collection items, go away there, music. That's the music. Go, shoot. We're done. Yes, we know. We're listening to Days. I want to see my address bar. Go! It won't go away. Come on. Go away. Thank you. We know what it is. So if I go to, it's not collections items, collection items, I get this, which it's okay. It's the text. There's the name, the description, the image URL of these objects as they're stored in the database, and it's lame. It's lame, right? If I was working with inventory data, okay. If I was working with accounting information, order records, okay. But I'm working with a very visible, very interesting set of data, and I want to show that. I want to interact with that. So I really don't want to use this index page, but the create new page that it put together, that's not bad. Name, description, image URL, a date when it was acquired, including time. That might be a little much. The number of votes that it has, and a create button at the end to save it, right? It's all the fields that I wanted in my object. Developer, I'll come to your question in just a second. The edit button, okay. It's got all appropriate things here. That's nice. The image URL, I'd really like to be able to have an upload button there, or right, and actually show me what that image is that this thing links to, and it's not wide enough. It's not the right size. But for scaffolding and generating all this code for me, it saved me hours of time. Hours of time to generate this very, very quickly. And of course, if I click delete, I get a little confirmation dialog, and it'd be nice once again if we formatted this a little bit better. So what I want to make sure that you understand is that it's going to generate a good start for this content. I highly recommend you take that good start and enhance it, tune it, make sure that it meets your needs, your customers' needs, your folks who are going to use your website, their needs, so that you present something that everybody enjoys and everybody wants to be a part of when they come and check out your website. All right? Taking a look here. Why am I... There it is. Developer ____. Is that kind of like a Steve Ballmer thing? Says, hey Jeff, is it a good idea to use Blazor components inside an ASP.NET Core MVC app, since I would like to use the MVC pattern, but I don't really want to write JavaScript? Why not just use the Blazor components in a Blazor page? Then you don't have to write JavaScript the whole way around. You'd like to use the MVC pattern, but what are you getting out of MVC that you wouldn't get out of just doing a Blazor page? I mean, sure, you can absolutely do that if you'd like to reuse those Blazor components in MVC. You can absolutely do that. At some point, you may end up writing some JavaScript, but you're not going to end up writing as much, anywhere near as much. So, you call it play with the code. Yeah, tinker with it, play with it, make it fit your theme, make it fit your application, the rest of the way that you build and write software. How's it going there? Disco12345 is here on Twitch. Hello, hello. Why did it blink? That was weird. Moving on. Let's customize this a little bit. Let's make this a little bit more interesting. I'm not going to delete this hat. I never delete a hat. That's why I've got almost 200 hats. A lot of them in a box right there. A bunch of them hanging up on the shelves and over there. So we're getting somewhere with this. I'm going to get rid of this index page because I like this as my index page to show off my hats first. So I'm going to get rid of the index page inside of my collection items. And what I can do instead, right? So here, instead of returning collection, blah, 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 I'm going to actually reroute you over to the home page. Right? Why not? Yeah, I'm going to do a redirect, and I'm going to send you to the root of the website. That's better. All right. No code changes were found. Yes, I know. So if I now go up here and go to collection items, it routes me back to this same page. That index doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, the template is still on disk over here. Right? So we can get rid of that. Oh, it's running. I can't. I can't just delete while the debugger is attached. So index, goodbye. Thank you. Do I want to be able to click from a hat into the details page? Sure. So if I go, let's leave that up for now. I won't close it. But from my home page, where I have my interesting hats here, and I've got my item card with that link through, where I'm reusing, and I have the format for what a card looks like, all specified here. Edit, delete. Let's make the title right here. Let's have that jump through to the details page to see more about that. So I'm just going to wrap this. I could do href equals and point it directly to that. Or I can say ASP controller equals, and I'm going to specify the collection items controller. I'm going to specify the action we want it to go to is details. I'm going to cut that, and I know that that's gotten a little bit behind me there. Let's wrap that so you can see it. There we go. So I've turned the title, oops, I got rid of the E on model name. So I've turned the title now into a link to go to the collection items controller and show you the details. I need to also give it, what is it? Right, I want to give it a route ID equals, sure, I think that's it. I think item ID or just, I thought it was just ID. And I would give it ID right there. Let's rerun this. Make sure that I have that right. And it should generate that URL automatically for me using those pointers down to and specifically the controller and the details method. So thank you. So now when I mouse over Blazor, check out the URL that it specified for me. Collection items controller details 2. I don't want collection items controller. It should be just collection items. And when I mouse over it after hot reload takes in, it refreshes and now it says collection items details. So when I click that, I get the details page with all the information for it. Cool. So I've started to knit these two things together. Let's continue. So back to list takes me back to here because I changed, right? But I changed so that it's still, when it goes to collection items, it actually reroutes it back to here. Haha! All right. So next, I don't like how that anchor goes all the way up to the edit. Can we fix that? Can we fix that? No, not. Is that because of that? There we go. That's better. It was picking up that significant white space and turning it into a hyperlink. All right. So I've got that. I want to wire up the edit button now so that the edit button goes to the edit action. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Instead of URL action edit, right? I'm going to drop in these items right here. Okay. And I'm going to change this from details to edit. Same thing with delete. Paste that in, and I will change that to delete. Oops. We have to... Yep, we have an anchor tag at the end of that. Good. That's better. It was looking a little ornery there. Now when I click that, it goes through to my edit page where I wanted it to be. Good. I feel good about this. It's landing, it's showing the content that I want to see over here. So let me refresh. Get connected. There we go. There we go. How you doing there, chat room? Now my teleprompter is showing me all the things. It back connected the way I wanted it to be. All right. So let's start updating this. Let's do a little bit more here. Particularly, right, that details page. Let's replace image URL with the actual image, right? And we can move some of these around a little bit so that it looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to grab here. Now, check out the code that it generates by default for us. It's literally, when we use that generator, it literally generates a DL tag, right? DL. It's one of those obscure HTML1 tags that people forget. DL stands for a data list or a definition list, okay? So we have a definition term that is, in this case, we use it for a label. And then we have a data definition, a DD, that specifies, well, here's the actual definition for that item. In this case, we use it for the right side, the content that we're putting along with that. And we put a display for. Check this out. Display name for, and then display for. It's actually reaching into our object and figuring out what's this property called. And then it goes and generates a display. How do we format whatever this thing is here? Okay. Now, down here, it's doing a display for on the image URL. It just outputs that as a URL, right? I'm going to replace that. I'm going to move this around just a little bit here. So let's take these two elements here. I'm going to comment them out. Notice the comments in Razor, right? I just did a quick Control K, Control C to comment here in Visual Studio. Notice it wraps way over there. It wraps with @ and then *@. This is a way for us to put a fence around code in our Razor templates that are commented out. Yes, you could use, right, the standard HTML comments to comment this out. And it will comment that out so that the browser doesn't render it. However, it hasn't commented it out from the Razor engine. These methods that are still inside those HTML comments are still going to get executed. They're just not going to show up in the rendered page. So if I save that, we go back over here. The image URL isn't in the page. However, if we look at the source, it's still there. It's still included, okay? So HTML comment does comment it out from being rendered on the page. If we change that around back to the @ comments, save that. It's still not on the page, but now it's also not in the source code. This is the difference between the two types of comments, okay? Something important that new developers need to keep an eye on to see what's going on here. How we doing there, chat? The teleprompter isn't showing me any more messages here, but I feel like I'm missing something going on there. Are we doing all right? Let me know. Because I'm not seeing anything come through. There it is. How you doing, PowerShell Freak? Thank you so much over there on Twitch chiming in. Okay, so we got that. Let's do a little bit more reformatting here. I'm going to put the image next to these. So 2 and then 10 wide. So let's do this. I'm going to put it. I want to move things around a little bit here with some Bootstrap. You did not see the GitHub when you did the GitHub. You know what? It's not running on YouTube. The GitHub command isn't running on YouTube. But I will drop the GitHub into both chats real quick. GitHub.com. There it is. All right. How do I want to move this? How can we move this so it kind of appears next to it? Let's wrap this with a div. Make this one the row. Right? Take this off. And instead of these being 10 across, let's make these go 8. Right? And before all of those, I will put an image source equals model. Where is it? Image URL. Okay. And I'm going to put a. I should wrap that, shouldn't I? I don't want to put the class on it. That's too many S's. Call SM, and I made it, so this is going to be 2. Let's see how that looks now. Now it's side by side with it. Do we need to make it a little bit wider? I think we need to make it just a little bit wider. So that they go, nope, not going next to it. What am I missing? What am I missing? I mean, it's not terrible that it's above it like that. Yeah, you're seeing the Docker notebooks. Good. Can I use Tailwind instead of Bootstrap? You can. Bootstrap is what comes with the templates. So, yeah, why won't it? Actually, this is what should be. Can we do? Let's do this. Call SM8. Right, then I can get rid of these. Let's see how that works. Not bad. 8 if that's 4. Yeah, should have. What if we make these 6 and 6? Cut it right down the middle. Not bad. Not bad. So now it's a little bit easier to see what's going on here with things side by side. I like that a little bit better. But I want to do more. So, Mighty Sandwich is here on Twitch. How you doing there, Mighty Sandwich? Hello. Am I using Azure Blob Storage for images? These ones happen to be stored in Azure Blob Storage. I have a bunch of them in Azure Blob Storage. So I'm just pulling them from there for the purposes of showing. I wanted to go to the acquired here. It's doing just an HTML display 4, but I'd really like to put, not a template. I'd really like to put a format. No. No. Here's what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to I want to take advantage of the fact that acquired is a date, and I'd really like to just show month, year. I'm going to change the format here to that, and this should be capital model. So now acquired changes to April 2019. Much better. And it'll localize that as well, right? Localization is something that we don't cover enough, but it will properly cover that for me. I'm missing one div. Am I missing one div? Where am I missing the div? I've got that span. I've got that DL. There's the end of that div. There's that div. There's an outer div we're missing. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Final Stack. So, okay, we've got this formatted. Back to the list. It takes me back here. The delete button, and I could fix the formatting there. Right? I could update this formatting as well. I'm okay with that one. But add item. Oh no. It's not going to the right place. So let's fix our add item button. Get that lined up correctly. Right? So I just have it hard-coded right there to the a create action. But I'm going to send this to the collection items controller, and I want it to go to create. Isn't that what it's called? Yep. Put a carriage return there. And I think that's all I need for that. Back up one. There it goes. And now I'm on my create page, and I've got this information, and it's close to what I want. Image URL, I might want to turn into a file upload. And the acquire votes is clearly something that when you create, you're not going to specify the votes. So I'm going to remove votes. Acquired, I don't go all the way through the time there. It should be date only. So I'm going to reformat that. And image URL here, yeah, let's see what we can do with that. Let's see what we can do to make that a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to jump back into the create page. Now, I'm going to make sure that you understand create and edit are two steps that we need to go through here. We need first a page for creating, right? So we have an action here called create that just returns a view without passing anything into it because it needs to present that screen that has, well, my form with all of my form fields here that it's just generated nicely for us to key in that information. So I have a view that has my form that I'm going to interact with. That's one action here, okay? I have a second action here that will receive the values from that form, check if the form is valid, add that collection item to the database, save those changes, and then redirect back to the index page. Say redirect to action, and it's going to go to the index page. The name of method here, name of is a method that's available everywhere in C#, and it's a way for you to point to another piece of code and say, whatever that piece of code is, turn that into a string for the purposes of passing it into something that's going to need to reference it. So name of index turns into just quote index, right? These two things are syntactically equivalent. However, because if you go through name of, if I were to go up here and just remove that, what it's done now is it's created a scenario where I have an error. It's created a scenario where I have an error, and it should error out there. Really? Really? Oh, it went to system.index. Oh, no. Hang on. Put that back. Change this to collection items controller. So now if I go up and remove the index, now it should error out because it doesn't know what that is. Yeah. So what I've done now by using the name of, by using that method, I've now effectively coupled the compiler to check that things that I'm referencing elsewhere in my code don't change. So I get an error because this thing doesn't exist anymore. If I were to change the name of this to, right, to Foo Magoo, it's going to break down here as well. So that also means, though, that if I use the F2 refactor and I rename it here, then when I go down, it's down here, it's now named Foo Magoo. So using name of when you're referencing other parts of code It's a good way to ensure that you don't break things in future refactorings. So I'm going to change that back to what it was. Okay. So this create is the second half of that, right? It's receiving that data. We're going to talk about model binding here in a second. It's going to redirect back to the index action. And if it isn't valid, it's going to return the view with whatever that collection item was that was saved. Let's talk about the collection item that was saved here. This is some interesting syntax if you haven't seen and worked with hints yet in C#, okay? We can introduce hints to tell the compiler a little bit more about you need to go and find data from somewhere else to either activate a method, to interact with a method, or to interact with the parameters that go into that method. And we have this hint here called bind, okay? Now, bind says we're going to take this CSV, this comma-separated value of the various fields that are being passed into, that are being posted into this method. And this method listens on post because it has HTTP post right there. All right? We'll talk about anti-forgery token in just a second. So you must post in order to get this method to trigger. We're looking for something that looks like a collection item, and we're going to put it into an input parameter called collection item. The fields that we're going to grab to put into that collection item from the form that is posted are this CSV set of fields. We're looking for an ID, a name, a description, image URL, acquired, votes. We're going to take those values, match them up to properties inside this collection item, and make them available inside this method. Model state is valid is now going to look at any object that was submitted as part of this method here. So in this case, the collection item. It's going to take a look at that, and it's going to evaluate the various attributes that are on the collection item and say, are these valid? Do we have any violations of the various parameters and definitions of this collection item? And if there are any violations, this will return false. It'll fall through, and then we'll be routed back to our view, and it won't insert them into the database, as you would expect. We get all this for free because we chose to build our collection item and take advantage of these parameters, these attributes on top of these. The name is required, right? These other values down here, we can tune, we can do more with to make them appropriate to interact with inside our not just our database, right? We put these initial hints here for presenting and storing in the database, but now we can use additional attributes to format and put them in the default interface that's presented for folks to interact with. These are not the indexes you were looking for. That's correct. That it's not a lot of properties. When you think about an object with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, that's not bad at all. And to be frank, when you're creating, I don't want you keying in ID, and they didn't create ID here for you to interact with. The ID field here, I don't want it to receive that either, so I'm going to remove that. And yes, you can rebuild and apply those changes. So now I'm not receiving an ID. That key should be, do I want to rebuild? No. What did we miss here? Oh no! Come on now. This one. Because I went through and I did the rename and then I just rolled things back. Sorry. Restart that. So, it's not a lot, right? 4 or 5 properties? Not a lot at all. And there's my website. So now I have, right, I can go and add, and I can specify some of this information. The ID isn't here. I'd like to change that acquired from a full date time to just a date only. Let's go and change that over here. So here it says input ASP4 acquired, right, as a form control. I'm going to specify the type as a date, not a date time, but just as a date to force that in there. And there it turns into a date field. And I get from my browser, I get the formatting with the calendar provided for me. And if I open this same page inside Edge, right, I get a different calendar that appears. That's being generated for me by the browser. So you may want to force a specific calendar user interface on a field, but just by specifying the date type, you'll get this type of presentation, and on your phone, you'll get the appropriate calendar user interface that's appropriate for your operating system on your iPhone, Android, Tizen, whatever you might be using in your browser that's specific to that device that the manufacturer made available. So, not bad. That makes it a little bit easier here for me. I still feel like votes shouldn't be here. That's not something we should bind and load from our create screen. So I'm going to remove that from the create screen as well. Go back over to the items controller, and I'm going to tell it that for create, we're not receiving votes. We're not going to bind and save votes. This way, nobody can use a curl method to go and pass those in and try to force a votes number in there. Prof Daily on YouTube asks, what about a foreign key dropdown? I don't have a foreign key in this one, but it will not give you by default a foreign key lookup there to go and choose a foreign key. Right? If I had a field here called stores, right, or right, the shop where I got it from, and I had a list of those stores, a list of those places where I purchased them that I could choose from, it will not generate that for me automatically. You'll have to go in and create that lookup list to present. If it was an enum, you might get that drop down showing up. I forget if it does. I would need to tinker to see if it would pop up when you go to generate it. If you make it virtual, if you make what virtual? It'll look up and give you the values from that table. That's how long it's been since I've worked and done a larger model at interacting with these. So I want to take that image URL and I want to make it something that you can upload a file for. Which means I need a little bit more going on here. And collection item, I'd actually like to replace that with the name of my collection, which I believe I put in my app settings, didn't I? Yep. I have a configuration item here called collection type. So if I were to go back over here, we can change this to, inject configuration, thank you. I'll just call it config for short. And here, I can just say config collection type, right? Create a hat. And now it formats and looks a little bit cleaner for what I'm trying to present and show here. But let's see if Fritz can remember how to do the file upload now. If I wanted to take out image URL and turn it into a file upload. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to change this from image URL here into an input type. I'm not sure what to do with the span. Let me come back to the span. But let's make this input type equals file. This is the one that everybody's like, oh, how do you upload files? How does that work? And I want to make this encoding type equal. There, I have a couple choices here, but I want multi-part form data when I'm uploading. Right? There we go. Public int gender ID, public virtual gender. It's a little bit more than that. It's a little bit more than that. So, okay, that's going to do a post now over into this, and I'm not going to receive image URL here. Now, the isn't it like an I collection of I had this bookmarked. Docs, Microsoft, stop it. And I want ASP.NET Core MVC file. And I have it bookmarked over there on the other one. Core MVC file upload. No. And I told you to search. I'm on Bing. No. Downloading large files. It's still not picking up the site. Is it site colon? That's it. That's the article I was on earlier. And I want go find where's the demo that I was looking at. iForm file is it? Over here. iForm file. There we go. And was it a... It was a list. Fantastic. Here we go. So I expect to only receive one file. Then we're going to parse it, write it out on disk, and set the image URL to wherever I put that thing. So, and if yes, would I recommend that? If yes, what? Okay. So let's do this. If it's valid, I'm not going to completely finish doing all those things. I want to, well, heck, just grab that thing. Right? If I should only have one file in there. So let's grab this. Copy that in. Right? So I can say files first. Thank you. File path, let's get a temporary path name. We're going to create that file location on disk. And we're going to say, let's do first or default. So we do a null check here. First or default, question mark, dot says, if we didn't get anything, then this is going to be null, this entire left half. So double question mark says, if this is null, return this value instead. So it will fail through. So we're going to create a file, copy into that file asynchronously the contents of that. All right. This should be first now because we know we got through it. All right. Now, we should probably copy it out to a to a folder appropriate on disk. And I can probably, for the purposes of this demo, I can probably put a folder down inside root, right? call this collection images. I would do some other checks in here to make sure that it was an image, to make sure that it was properly formatted, but I'm going to skip through that for right now. And I'm going to just jump through this little bit here. And I'm going to say, oh gosh, can I do, I want a physical file, returns the file, no. I forget how to get the server. I want to get the folder so I can write it to that folder. I'm forgetting how to do that. Not redirect. I love being able to just route through these things. No. Can I go HTTP context? No. Isn't there a thing here that says how I can write it to somewhere on disk? Come on, go find me a good example of it. Memory stream. Streaming large files, that's a good topic, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to write it context file. Add. Where's context coming from? I don't see it. I'm trying to go through and get through this quickly. This is what I was afraid of. Yep, I'm uploading a physical file, multi-part, blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing all of that. I'm just trying to do the simple save the file onto disk. I don't want to do, yeah, content validation, file extension validation. You can do all of these things to make sure that they do work properly, right? All kinds of security things that you should do. And you can even set the limit to how big the file is that you're receiving. But I want to save the file to disk, right? Temporary folder, physical storage. There's the XML HTTP request. Write it out. System.io file, create file path. But how do I put it down at a specific location inside the application? And I'm forgetting. It used to be like server dot something request. No. ASP.NET core save file to folder. Not in the app data folder. Yeah. Give me that. Feels like something we're missing from the documentation. In this environment content root path, there we go. Then we can path combine all the way down. That's what I was thinking. Right, path combine. And it's bringing an environment, yeah. So just like everything else in ASP.NET Core, we can receive with a little bit of dependency injection. No, I want to fully qualify it. Why don't you like that? I guess I wanted the other one. Well, which one is it? What should I be using instead if you're going to give me an obsolete? iWeb host environment. Fine. And we'll save that. I will rename you to just environment. So now down here, this environment web root path, not uploads, but what did I call it? Collection images. And I will give it whatever the name is of the file. Model state dot. No, not model state. I'm sorry. Collection item dot. PNG. I should probably detect what type of image it is before I just kind of assume, but yeah, I'm just going to force that through for right now. Of course, you'd probably want that to be a bit more sophisticated. Jason asks, is it possible to use Blazor components inside a normal MVC application? Yes, it is. You can do that. They pop up as components that you can reference. You actually have to say render component and point to it, and it will load them for you. And something happened to Restream, and it's not responding to chat all of a sudden. Nice, way to go there. Consequently now, after I copy that file in, now I need to save the new image root is this location where I saved this stuff. So now I want to say collection item image URL equals, and I'm going to specify slash collection images slash, and we're going to add some stuff onto this, right? Collection item name PNG. Okay. So now it has that location of the file that I uploaded inside of that content. And if we did this right, we should be able to upload that content. It's not running. Restart that website. Yeah, Restream took a powder for me. We are just about out of time. Let's see if we landed this. Come on. While that's loading, I'm going to go out to the Hats website, steal another image from there to upload. Steal's wrong word, right? Let's grab, no, I don't want to grab that. I'll grab the GitHub hat, right? And I can't actually click on it. So we're going to need to cheat here. Yes, I know. Thanks so much. I don't need the welcome. I need the actual content. Where did... I just had GitHub. There we go. And I'll save that hat. It's funny, it's a JPEG. I specified that it would be a PNG, and I actually am downloading a JPEG, right? It's fine. So that loaded, add item. There's my image URL that I can go. So let's also make sure that it's JPEG. As we wrap up here, JPEG. Hot reload's kicking in. Come on. Done. Good. This is the GitHub. This is Fritz's GitHub hat. And I put that in downloads. It's right there. And I'm going to specify August 1st. Go ahead and create. And did it save it? Did it save it? Nope, didn't write it to disk. We did something wrong there. That should have worked right there. Let's put a breakpoint. I'm not going to be able to step through it, and we're out of time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this and add some notes to this, and it'll be in the source code, and I'll update so that when you look at the source code, check out the link down below through to the source code on the YouTube recording, and you'll get more information about this. I missed something in here during that save process, and I will figure that out and get it updated in the documentation for you. Let's head back over to the other machine. Let's wrap things up real quick. There we go. Sorry about that. I almost had it. It is a Raspberry Pi mouse. That's right, Bamwitch. What machine am I using? That is a Surface Book 2 that I'm using. All right. Thank you so much, friends, for tuning in. We went through and showed a lot, and I wanted to get through and show you, here's the kind of forms that are generated for you by default. Very useful, very handy, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that file demo and make sure that you get a file upload demo that you can refer to in the source code that goes along with this. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being with us today. But it's time for me to go. Time for me to move on. We've got some more shows coming up here on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch, on the .NET channel over there on YouTube. Let me get you connected with some more content. If you're watching on YouTube, check out all the great videos that we have for you. Just below and over to the side there's all kinds of great stuff that you can see, that you can interact with, from .NET Conf, Focus on Maui, and even other .NET Conf events about things like Blazor, microservices, Windows development. Make sure you check those out. I'm going to take a look around the horn here, see who else we can get you connected with. And I see a friend that I'm happy to get you connected with. Let's send you over to the VMware Tanzu team and some of the content they're talking about. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow over on my channel. Twitch.tv/CSharpFritz will be over there streaming. Those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. All of you over there on Twitch, get ready for the raid. Get ready to say hi to our friends from VMware. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.